Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where this morning I brought you a tactical breakdown of Manchester United's exciting attacking play in the 4-3 win over Wolves. This afternoon, we then done a live stream, looking ahead to the game against West Ham this weekend with a tactical preview. And now, it's time to talk about what everyone else in the fan base is currently talking about. It's Kobbie Mainoo. What a player, what a performance, what a prospect, what a future. But also, what a player in the present. Simply unbelievable once again in this game. Of course, because of the goal, right at the end of the game, we will cover that. But there is stuff to talk about before that as well, because I think tactically he played a really important role in this game. So, we'll start off with some of the stats from the game. We can see 56 touches, 30 out of 35 passes, with an 86% pass completion rate, 1 shot on target, and 2 out of 4 successful dribbles. And that's what I felt we started to see in this game a little bit more. More of that willingness to try and carry the ball. More, perhaps, bit confidence in his performance, but also the tactical role as well. Because what you will notice is that he wasn't playing as a 6, he wasn't playing, virtually as a 10 like he was the other day. In this game, he was an 8, he was a second phase presence. The position which I've been crying out for him to play, the role I've been asking him to be. Ten Hag finally done it. And we got ourselves a really good performance from him because of that. And the reason I think he was so good is because of his understanding of when to be in different spaces. So United often built possession with a back three, like this. Again, the personnel in this three could change, like we discussed this morning, but the main thing being it was often a 3, and then Casemiro was often in the double pivot. Now, again, this season, there's been one player there, isolated, too much ground to cover. What Kobbie Mainoo done in this game is he had a really good understanding of when he needs to drop into this position here to receive a simple pass, when he needs to drop outside of the opposition structure, once again, to receive a pass like this, but also on the occasions when, he could move a little bit higher. Perhaps Dalot had inverted at the time. Kobbie again had that understanding of rotating a little bit higher up the pitch and now receiving the ball from Dalot. Perhaps he can receive the ball here, turn, play forward. Really, really good. And again, for such a young player to have this understanding of the game, the football IQ is absolutely through the roof. And I can't praise this guy enough. Now, again, probably before we properly get into this, I should say, remain calm on him. Don't put too much pressure on him. For him to have a great career, things have got to go his way. He's got to work hard, he's got to have luck with injuries, and he's got to be put in a good environment. But the talent is unbelievable. And if he becomes as good as we all think he can be, you're saving Manchester United over £100 million because it is the most unique profile in football, the most valuable profile in football. Someone who is tall, strong, and athletic, like Kobbie Mainoo is proving to be. He's really grown in his frame over the past couple of seasons. But then on the ball, deceptive, press resistant, understanding of tempo, incredible pauser to his game, and then a brilliant passer to go with that. And he can carry the ball forward as well and score world-class goals in the last minute. He's unbelievably good. He is unbelievably good. And I want to go through some of his clips from this game because I just loved what I saw. I know we've spoken about him a lot, but let's be honest. You guys want to talk about him. I want to talk about him. Let's talk about him. We're going to use Once Video Analyzer Pro to do this. Great video analysis software, by the way. You guys will see me using this a lot on the channel. Highly recommend it. There will be a link in the description down below. Check it out. Really recommend it. What we can see here is what I was talking about a minute ago. Kobbie Mainoo having the understanding of moving away from the opposition structure. So he's not moving himself into these crowded areas where all the Wolves players are. Instead, he's moving to the side. Now, it helps that he has moved to a side which has Lisandro Martinez. What a player Lisandro Martinez is, by the way. On the ball, his passing is absolutely ridiculous. Plays a brilliant pass between the two Wolves players. But watch Kobbie Mainoo here. What's he doing? Scanning. One of my favourite things, something I talk about a lot with young midfielders. He is scanning what's around him. This means that when he receives the ball, he knows what's around him. So he scans, he takes in important information. And he knows, therefore, he's looked at the pitch, he knows that no one is going to be straight on the back of him when he gets the ball. Meaning he can receive the ball on his back foot, allowing him to therefore turn, take a positive touch, and carry the ball forward. So because he has had the awareness initially to move into space, he has then scanned, checked what's around him, assessed the information. He knows he can receive the ball and be progressive. Rather than just passing the ball backwards, he can turn, be progressive, carry the ball forward, and eventually give the pass to Marcus Rashford. It looks really simple, but I can't explain how important this is. I've tried several times in the past, it's so good. But I felt what we saw in this game was perhaps more of a variation of his passing game. So what we've seen in previous matches is a lot of that, on the ball stuff has been about pause, temperament and things like that. I thought we saw something different in this game. And it came because he started a little bit higher and then moved into this deeper position. Again, playing as an all phase 8, he's just so good at it. So we can see here Casemiro is a little bit deeper. Kobbie Mainoo's higher, but not as high as Bruno Fernandes all the way over here. And it allows Kobbie to read the game really well and assess when he wants to arrive into these spaces. And truthfully, he done it brilliantly. His understanding was brilliant. And it catches Wolves off guard because it gives United the extra player in the build-up phase. So when Kobbie Mainoo drops deep, the Wolves players are going to follow him. But because we now have the extra man, thanks to the intelligence of Kobbie, and also an improved tactical structure from Erik ten Hag, Kobbie Mainoo can play the first time pass round the corner to Casemiro. Again, it looks pretty simple. But again, if you just imagine, like what we've seen previously in the season, where there was only one player in this position, this little situation can't happen. This little scenario never happens with only one midfielder. Having two midfielders there, with one starting higher and then coming in, it worked really, really well. And these bounce pass backwards, I think, are so important. Another one here. People talk all the time about, the importance of progressive passes through the lines. But I think what people don't give enough credit to is the pass after that. Because it's not just about passing the ball forward. It's about what does that player do once they've received the ball. So initially, United play out from the back really well on this occasion. This is a beautiful move. And we can see Kobbie Mainoo again actually starting higher initially, but then recognising that he needs to drop deeper to be the passing option. He drops deep, again, catching this Wolves player completely off guard. He drops in ahead of him, draws the attention of the Wolves players, draws players in towards him, and then releases the ball to someone else, Diogo Dalot, I believe, who can then play a first-time pass to Bruno Fernandes in space. This is Kobbie intelligence, starting high, dropping deep, releasing the pass, making room for Manchester United to attack. This was a really good move. If a goal had come from this, which it nearly did up the other end, it would have been incredible. But again, it's good from Kobbie Mainoo. Then we've got more of the carry side of his game, which we know he's good at. And again, this might go under the radar a little bit. I think when people talk about progressive carries, they often talk about, striding with the ball over 10, 15 yards and eating up the ground. Very important. But what's also important is the small carries, particularly in your own half. Just carrying the ball 2 or 3 yards just away from danger. We can see here that United are camped in their own half defensively, really. Camped in their own box, actually. Pretty much every player is back here apart from Rasmus Højlund. So the ability for Kobbie Mainoo to take this ball and be confident in himself, to take a strong first touch. He really pushes the ball away from him. He then believes in his own speed, but also his physicality to protect the ball, ride the challenge, and then pass the ball to Rasmus Højlund. Again, it's a small little detail, but just that ability. Look at the United players suddenly. Suddenly we've gone from being camped in our box to now we can see the likes of Rashford down the bottom here, but also Bruno Fernandes. They're now thinking, well, now we can steal forward. We might be able to go in a transition. And again, it's because of Kobbie's ability to hold the ball in that first phase. It's so good. What he also has the ability to do, though, is turn higher up the pitch. And this is quality. So the ball comes long from Wolves. This might be a second ball situation, I can't particularly remember. But the ball comes along to Lisandro Martinez. Kobbie Mainoo, whilst the ball is in the air, he does something pretty important. He thinks, okay, the ball's up there. Okay, I know where that is. But I now need to know where the players around me are. Where are the Wolves players? Where are my teammates? What way do I need to turn when I get this ball down? Because he knows Lich is going to pass the ball to him. So what does Kobbie do? He scans around him. He has a look. He takes in some information. He paints a picture in his head of where his teammates are, where the opposition are, where the space is. Which means that when Licha plays this ball into Kobbie Mainoo, and he comes under pressure, of course, from the Wolves player, he already knows that he has this space in behind him. He knows, therefore, which way he needs to take his touch. He needs to take his touch away from these players, and therefore, he keeps the ball for his side. He also uses a straight arm, which is very important when you're trying to protect the ball in this way. A strong arm, again, very important. People don't talk about it. Kobbie does it very well. And then, simple progressive pass to Bruno Fernandes, which is actually quite cute on the outside of the Wolves player to Bruno. It's a really good pass, once again. And then we've got, for me, one of my favourite clips, him properly, in the sixth position, if you like. So here he's actually more of a solo pivot. He's dropped all the way deep and he receives the ball from the defender. And what you can see is that Neto, I believe, is going to track back and close him down. And basically what we all expect here, Kobbie is this player which turns on the ball, is progressive, wants to carry the ball forward. So what we all think is going to happen is the ball is going to be passed to Kobbie and he's going to turn and run that way. And Neto is also going to run that way. That's what everyone expects. Not Kobbie Mainoo. He switches it up a little bit because he knows that that's what Wolves want. He knows that if he does that, Neto is going to be on his back all the way as he carries the ball forward, which isn't easy to deal with. So what Kobbie does is actually he takes the touch back towards where the ball just came from. Now what this does is it completely offsets the balance of the Wolves player. We can see Neto has now had to quickly change direction because he wasn't expecting the ball to go that way. He thought Kobbie's touch was going the other way. So when he takes this touch, Neto's body weight is now entirely the wrong way for when Kobbie Mainoo does this. Drops the shoulder, turns the other way, and we can see just a couple of seconds later how far away he now is from this Wolves player. He's able to carry the ball up from the back and again play a simple pass. Again, it is so good from Kobbie Mainoo. It's little details. It's manipulating the opposition, moving them where he wants them, creating space for himself, but importantly also his teammates, and then he has the eye for a pass to find his teammates. It's unbelievably good, and I think his performance was so impressive again for such a young player. But there is one more thing we still need to talk about, because there was a reason he's doing this celebration. It's because he scored one of the coldest goals I've seen in a long time. It's special. This is special. You know, in the situation, the game state, Manchester United have just conceded an equaliser in the 95th minute after being a couple of goals up, after cruising all game. The Wolves crowd are now going absolutely mental. They think their side can get a late winner. Away from home, Kobbie Mainoo goes, "Don't worry, everyone. I'm him. That's who I am." And it's so good what he does here. It's so impressive. So first of all, he plays the forward pass into Forson. He punches the pass forward. Shout out Forson. This is quality. First thing he does is he uses the lower body strength in the legs, glutes, hamstrings. Really good to protect the ball. What he also does, though, is notice here, Forson receives the ball with his front foot rather than his back foot. And the reason he does that is because, again, he knows where the opposition is. And by receiving the ball on the front foot, he can use his body a bit more. So he's in quite a side-on stance. He can protect the ball, keep it away from the Wolves defender. So it's really good from Forson. Then he lays it off to Kobbie Mainoo. So Forson, great play, mate. Love what you've done there. Lays it off to Kobbie. And as you can see, as the layoff comes towards Kobbie, it's not the best pass in the world. So the Wolves players think, let's go in and nick this ball. And you can see the direction they are running in. That is the force. That is the way they are going. So Kobbie goes, all right, let's drop his shoulder and go the other way. We see the low centre of gravity here, despite him growing in stature recently. Low centre of gravity still gets himself nice and low to the ground. We can see those hips are open, the knees are bent, allows him to turn to the left-hand side. Next Wolves player come over. And we can see these two players are now beaten. Now it looks like Kobbie is moving to the left-hand side, particularly after this touch. It looks like Kobbie's going left to Bruno Fernandes. So the defender gambles that way. He goes to intercept that pass, but Kobbie goes, no, let's go back through your legs. This is manipulation of the highest level. In a frantic environment, when your team have just conceded, and you're a young player like this, in probably 1.5 seconds here, he has just manipulated 3 different Wolves players completely out of position so he can dribble past them. Puts the ball through the legs. Again, credit to Forson for the run here. The blindside run takes the defender away. It's really, really good work. Allows Kobbie Mainoo to take another kind of pushed touch towards the penalty area. And then the finish itself. That's not half bad. It is such a good finish, and it capped off a really good performance from Kobbie Mainoo. But what I want to really highlight is everyone will talk about his goal, as they should. The goal was brilliant. But I feel as though if the goal hadn't been scored, the performance would have been going under the radar. Don't let that happen. Watch Kobbie Mainoo when he gets the ball, the way he twists those hips, the way he bends those knees and turns and manipulates the opposition constantly. He takes extra small touches, scans. It is so good. Next time you watch him play, watch out for those things, basically. And then if he's going to score goals like that as well, it's going to be hard to keep your eyes off him. But that is that for today's video. Like I said, we've done a lot of content today, so I am going to wrap things up there. Again, this weekend, we've got a West Ham preview coming up. That will be uploaded tomorrow. And then, of course, on Sunday, we will cover the game. I'll be streaming before the West Ham game and then doing a video after the game. So subscribe, get notifications on, leave a like on all the videos, all of that good stuff. Join the Discord server if you want to do that. In terms of today, we are finished. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.